first of all, congrats. Why? Congrats to 25 years of mining hotels. To you, Marlin, Thomas, and of course your teams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're with Meininger for quite a long time. 10 years nearly?
Who's counting?
Yeah. And you, Thomas?
Yeah, it's a bit more than 6.
Why?
It's a fun company and it's a great product. It's a niche product and it's really nice working here, I must say, coming from traditional hotel business.
Mm.
Yeah, same here for me. 10 years really, it's been a quick journey and there is not one day that is like the other. And as we are also growing, there are new challenges that comes every day. So there is not one day like the other. And that I think is what makes it fun to work here. And also the expansion, going to different countries is really interesting. And the people is what makes the difference here.
Mm.
Could you elaborate what makes it different from a traditional hotel company?
Well, I worked almost 20 years with Radisson. And in the beginning also there, we had a great team in that sense. So you know the people, you meet on a regular basis. But here it's more, for me, it was a complete paradigm change. The type of clientele, the busyness in the hotels. The traditional hotels, I mean, you know it, you're designing them. You have a double occupancy factor of 1.5, 1.2. In our hotels, multi-bedded, we easily beat the 3. So our lobbies, our breakfast, I mean, that's wow. That's totally different. And frankly, after being 20 years with the traditional hotels, I like it to come in sneakers to the office and don't change and not running around with a tie and a needle stripe suit.
I was just looking for a kind of bracelet that I put here, but did you throw it away?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did. You know what it was for? What it is for?
I think it was from the hotel that you have access to all drinks and that you were invited as a VIP.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I hope you enjoyed it.
I should have come.
Yeah, what a warm welcome yesterday. Close to Tiergarten. And thanks for the bracelet again. Yeah. So I tried some of your Berlin beers.
Good.
Oh.
Good to know. I mean, we have them usually for the groups to have it a bit easier for breakfast control.
Mm-hmm.
Not the beer.
Not
The
the
band.
no, the bracelet,
yeah.
the bracelet, so that you can access the breakfast room and you don't need to count them and ask for the name and the room. And then if you have other groups who have different bookings that you know and also our internal functions, then we get a golden bracelet.
Talking about groups, so there was a very big group this morning. I think French teenagers from, I don't know what is it in Berlin, but it's one target customer of mining hotels. Tell us a little bit about your customers and the backgrounds.
Yeah, that is definitely groups, I would say, is our DNA of the company. This is also where we started, really to accommodate groups. And like you said, educational business, school groups. So that's something I think that is in our core. And it's about 20% of the business that we are, 20% share. Then we have backpackers, of course. They like us. And we have a lot of families. Comes with the room types that we have, the multi-bedded. And but we also have the city traveler, or even the business guest comes to see us, because of the vibrant space that we are in. So that I would say is those are the typical Meininger guests. So it's a big diversity of the guests.
So I find that very interesting. So how do these groups mix, like on a day-to-day basis? You know, in your public areas, for example, you know, how does a school group mix with a business traveler and the family? How does that work?
I mean, there is sometimes a little bit of conflict if the breakfast rooms are too busy in the morning. we have this Ampel concept that you see what are the most busiest time in most hotels. We offer also at reception or bar that you can get a coffee, a barista coffee, and a croissant, that you don't have to go into the busy breakfast room, or you come little bit later. And then obviously I didn't hear you complain, but I mean, you can imagine that I stayed a lot in our hotels. And then if you have these school groups, they're running until 2:00, the corridors up and down. So that is here and there that causes some friction. But what we try to do to avoid that and to accommodate that is that we put them on separate floors, right? And then the individual travelers are on a lower floor or higher floor.
How did we manage in your case?
I didn't hear them as you gave me the whole 5th level as VIP. So thanks again. No, but I really enjoyed the atmosphere. So last night, you've got the game zone. So if all the people playing there from different generations, families, the teenagers from France, this morning again. So I started with breakfast at 6:30, so it was still green.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you visit the guest kitchen?
No. But I saw the sign. So there's a guest kitchen. There's access to laundry area, the game zone. So
yeah, but I was just gonna say, I mean, business travelers, it is not really our core guest segment either. So the people who come to us, either they come and it's a big surprise. They don't know what to expect.
It's a surprise for them. Or
yeah, because they don't know what they have booked, maybe. Yeah. Or they do very much. It's a conscious choice, no, that you make, and then it is about, like what you said, the game zone, the social spaces, guest kitchen, just to be part of this whole thing, the community.
So that's interesting too. We do a lot of hotels where traditionally people try to fill their lobbies and their public areas. And that's a big challenge for a lot of companies. Sounds like your public areas are well used and always full. So how do you manage that?
I mean, for my taste, they could be fuller. There could be even more busy business there. What we are trying at the moment is to integrate breakfast area and lobby. So not the case what you've seen in the Turmstrasse, that you have a breakfast room which literally closes at 11 and then you are losing revenue space. So what we want to have is more a floating space. So for the new developments, we change that. And that's sometimes a bit of a challenge, obviously, because you have your breakfast buffet. You need to cater for it depending on the hotel. I mean, we are having over 800 beds and, TS is Turmstrasse, as we have the abbreviation. So we are running over 90% annual basis. So that's a very, very busy hotel.
It is, absolutely, yeah. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. And another thing also is that we are really trying now with the new product to do the zoning, no? Right? The zoning of the area so that you do actually have a space if you want to sit more quiet, maybe read, have a drink, or if you're more the groups, they have the larger area. So we do try to be a bit more conscious about that also in the social spaces.
So your signature, what would you say your signature elements are in your hotels?
In the public space.
Yes. Well as in the rooms.
Well, the rooms, I mean, the big thing is the multi-bedded. Yeah. The principle for us is that we are not selling only rooms. We're also selling beds. And as Marlene mentioned, I mean, 20% is backpackers. And that's really fun. That's fun people, and they mix and mingle in the guest kitchen. And you see the guy from Australia with a steak, and then you have the Chinese travelers with the noodle soup, sitting together, chatting together. So that's really, really nice. So guest kitchen, a game zone. There's always a game zone there. And we try to have a bar and obviously a reception, bar and lobby. What we are really trying, if the layout allows, to combine bar and reception as we do in the hotel where you stayed, because that's obviously also from an efficiency point of view important.
And also a part of, as a signature, if we continue to speak about the social spaces, it's also really that when it comes to the brand or who we are as Meininger, we are bringing the city into the social spaces, so to say, so that you know what city you're in. Maybe not the obvious. So in Paris, it's not about the Eiffel Tower that you see when you come in, but it's really try to find the authenticity of the city and bring it into the social spaces.
So, I mean, sorry, but that's great.
Who are you?
Sorry.
Just a guy walked in. Sorry. So I'm interested in the kitchen because I think this is a very fun concept, and that people actually come and, would use it and participate in it. But it also sounds like it could be a very challenging space operationally. Do you have any experience with that? You would,
Yeah. I mean, in the hotel where you stayed, it's a little bit hidden. What we want and what we usually do now when we plan a new hotel is that the guest kitchen is very visible from the reception, so that you keep an eye on it. I mean, I think the fire alarms to at least 50% come out of the guest kitchen. Yeah, because people try to bake a pizza and then they're on the phone and watching a video and then off it goes. No, so that's and of course you need to be there every day and have a look at it, and sometimes you have to throw away stuff. We ask the people friendly with a sign that they put a date and a name on their stuff. We have the typical boxes and things and pots and pans. And it depends. I mean, in Copenhagen, we have a huge guest kitchen. It's really, really big. And in others, it's just a small one. But it's heavily used from our guests.
But as far as I know, at least you're the only concept that actually does that, no? On that scale.
On that scale, yeah.
Well, we do have other competitors who also have like a guest kitchen.
Yeah.
So we are not the only ones, but I think we do it really well.
Yeah, and you've grown fast. So in the last 25 years, founded in first hotel, I think they were founded here in 1999 in Berlin, in the Meininger Street. So that's
200 meter long street. Sorry.
Okay. So
in Schöneberg.
That's where the name also comes from. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
very creative.
Okay. Very creative. Yeah. But how does the name works? I think now you're operating hotels in 26 cities in Europe and different countries. No,
10 countries.
10 countries.
There was an assessment, but that was before my time or before I started.
Yeah, but I've been here forever, so I can mention something. Yeah, actually, we did. It was pre-COVID. We did a brand analysis because we were at that point in time, even considering to go across the ocean to go over to the US. We did look at some projects over there and did an analysis to understand Meininger as a brand. How would it travel, the name? And actually, we found out more or less Meininger, it's a pretty neutral. Yep. It has a very German sound to it, we have to admit. But it's nothing that makes it negative in any way. Yeah. So that's why we said we will stick with the brand. Sorry for interrupting you before, but Meininger Straße, Meininger was like,
it was an old student hotel, huh? And they just took up the sign and then were thinking probably what's the closest idea and easy to find then, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's a name that... at least in Europe, we are fine to continue.
Yeah, I think so too. So talking about a little bit about the markets where you're in already, 10 countries.
I mean, from Denmark down to Italy. We are now opening in Spain, in Barcelona, end of this year. So we have a very mixed portfolio. I mean, the brand, we have proven that our brand can travel. We are in capital cities. We are in the industry. We talk about tier 1 and tier 2 cities. That works. important for us is central location and well connected to public transport. That's the main thing. Right. And then 2 in Brussels, 2 in Amsterdam. I mean, I can count now the 36 what we have.
No, you don't have to, but
no.
We need a mining a map.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very good. Yeah.
But important is also when we do travel with the brand, or we really look at where our guest types travel. So it's not a given every city. We need to look that we do have the mix, because that's also what makes us strong and what makes us profitable. And of course, the share is different. We can have more groups and therefore maybe less backpackers, because not every destination is a backpacker destination. But these are really things that we go by when we look at where to travel with the brand.
Are there any emerging markets you want to go in, or you already planned, or what's in the pipeline?
That was a big wish.
Are there new countries? Are there new countries you're not in, but that are already in the pipeline?
That's definitely Spain. I mean, we successfully established a little portfolio in France. So with Paris, Marseille, Bordeaux, Lyon, and now we signed Strasbourg. So that's the second biggest market what we have.
France.
And then obviously with Barcelona, I think we can talk about Madrid, that we are very close to.
Oh, you just did?
And,
real talk.
The thing is, I mean,
Think about that one.
no, but it's always like this. If you have the foot in the door, then things start to develop. Yeah, same thing. We hope for UK, Great Britain, that we with Edinburgh that we get more traction there. I mean, for us, London would be great. Yeah.
And we want to get back to London because we were in London once, but gave up that property. So we do want to come back to the UK.
So all of your properties in those different locations, do you always have the same mix of room types, or does it change by location? So do you have locations where you're, more oriented towards groups and have less rooms for individual travelers? And how do you evaluate what to put where?
This is exactly when we have a department, business development. That's where the wish list sits of all the destinations where to go. And we already did sort of looked at, okay, what are the demographics that travel to these destinations? And we look at how big would the share be? I mean, this is an estimation, an assumption. We know our clients. That's also important. We do travel where our clients travel. So looking at the groups, this is really where the normal hotels, I say normal, would have the business traveler as a base business. We have groups as a base business. So we look at the share, what we believe, how much groups we will have, how many backpackers we will have in the share, families and so on. And also, of course, the normal couples, the city travelers. And depending on that, will be what we call the bedroom ratio. So we then look at how many beds do we want to, how many multi-bedded rooms do we want to have? So the share can differ. A typical Meininger has about 50% multi-bedded. So that is 4 and above. Our new, we go 4 to 6 bedrooms. That's the normal, the new Meininger.
4 to 6 beds per bed.
Not 4 to 6, but 4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6 bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maximum 6.
6 bedded. Yeah, this is where we travel
depends
well.
On the layout, though. I mean, we're preferring to have conversions, because conversions are going faster than a new build. Conversion sometimes can go 6 months, or if you have an entire, let's say, fitting out of the interior, then it could be 18. But a new build can easily take 2, 3, 4 years.
Or much longer.
So we've converted office buildings like our flagship property in Amsterdam, or a little ex-hotel like in Leipzig, and then you're depending on the structure. So sometimes we would not plan for 8 or 10 bedrooms, but
it has happened.
It has happened,
yeah,
exactly.
It has. Yeah.
And the number 4 to 6 is based on the regular or standard, more or less standard room size, or it's based on your observation how big groups are and where the preference is, how many people should be grouped in one room?
Look, in the end of the day, the more beds you have, the more beds you can sell. Right. And that has an impact on the RevPAR, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the only difference what we have is that for 6 bedded rooms, we have, the the shower room separated from the WC. Yeah, that you have a bit more space and comfort for the guest. But I think the best seller is the
four-bedded one.
The four-bedded.
Yeah. Maybe also to add to that, I mean, again, groups is our main business. Thank you. You know, and we do also look at, okay, what are their needs and expectations? And there is sort of like you could say more than 6 kids or 6 students or 6 people in a room is also something from our guests that they are not really preferring to have. So looking at their needs and expectations also, we are traveling well with the 6-bedded. And just to quickly go back, I mean, about 25%, so like a fourth is normal twins and a fourth is maybe like a triple. So this is how the perfect maybe constructed Meininger would look like.
So it's a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter.
Basically. A quarter, and 2 quarters.
And 2 quarters.
But
so
still
that tells you how good my math is.
Yeah, but still then you have, we see that sometimes when we have more than one hotel in one destination, that you have a different business mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, looking at Brussels, one hotel at Midi is more the group's hotel. And then the other one, in the city center is more the backpacker property.
So I'm interested in it naturally, maybe. But so what's your wear and tear? So I'm just wondering, you know, everybody is complaining about what all hotel guests do in like standard hotel rooms, you know, where you have single occupancy or twin maybe. Now you have 6 people in a room, or sometimes 8, sometimes 10. So what are the things that go first?
Look, we have invested a lot of time to develop standard beds, and they're very solid. Yeah.
Want to share the secret? Or?
I mean, stay in a Meininger and then you can see what it is. Yeah, but in particular the bunk beds, I mean, jumping up and down, I mean, they are pretty stable and heavy duty. So that is an important thing, and it's often when we start working with a new interior designer and new architects who have done traditional hotels that we need to educate them. What is it what we are after? Because I have seen hotels newly opened and only after a year the chairs were completely broken in a public area. Yeah, it's not that we are hosting hooligans, but the behavior is different than a regular hotel.
But you are.
Yeah. Yeah, but we do, yes.
I mean, like little hooligans, the kids.
Yeah, I mean, those are the real hooligans, right? But, and sorry, if I can just follow up on that. So what do you think is, or what have you observed are like the bare essentials that a room must have? That you know, are your customers value and you think is good to provide, and what have you observed you can get rid of is just not useful?
Should I start?
Please.
Well, it's important, the beds, of course, and considering the Gen Z or the backpackers, the young kids that we have, everybody wants to have their space for their own iPhone, for instance, or their own phone. So we've looked at make sure that you have these, how do you say that? To plug in
USB plugs.
In all of the beds, also the multi-bedded. So that is the air that we breathe is Wi-Fi. That's a bare essential. We are not about mini bars in the rooms. That is not something that is interesting for our clientele.
We have vending machines.
Definitely not. Yeah, we have vending machines. Yeah. So no, it's the clean, great bathroom. The mattresses needs to be good. The beds, sustainable furniture and durable furniture. And then what you said, best in basics.
Yes,
that's
exactly
what we are about. And then we go all in the social spaces.
And one more thing, because very often we use also 4-bedded rooms for as a dorm. So that you have people renting only a bed, that you have a locker. So our cupboards are lockable, and so
all of them, also in the single rooms and twin rooms.
Not, no. But we don't have a in-room safe as such. But you can close the cupboard and then have a lock in front of it.
So last follow up on that. So you mentioned Wi-Fi
and how interior design today, huh?
And now, well, it's about the product, right? And how important that is, right, to people, obviously, which is, you know, everywhere. So I'm wondering, what's your attitude towards TVs? Do you still provide TVs in your rooms?
Oh, that's an ongoing discussion.
I think we have finalized that discussion. We have agreed.
Yeah. We have agreed now because
That's a good one.
I'm thinking it's obsolete, but we have the demand from families. So we did a survey on that. And for instance, in Copenhagen, we have a hotel, the Urban House. There are no TVs in the rooms, period. And no complaints. Nobody's asking.
In none of the rooms?
None of the rooms.
Okay.
And for now, the new concept is that for the 4-bedded rooms, we have a TV, but for 6-bedded, we don't. Because then anyway, it's different to look at it and to find the right angle that everyone can have a look. It doesn't make sense.
Even though you're quite experienced with groups, are there any other operational challenges? So what's about the booking process? So I think you started a new website last year, Booking Engine, and also that's...
Yeah, to operator interface. I mean, that's your special
Now it's
topic.
my...
Yeah. We still have time.
Yeah. No, so when it comes to groups, we have an amazing amount of group requests that we get in, and it is a really a high workload. So we do have a central team. Most of our services also for mining are actually centralized. So we have a team sitting here in the headquarters, and we have another team sitting in Milan that take care of all the group requests, and to make sure it's not a complete manual process, because this is something that has been. We have through our own developers now, exactly what you said, a tour operator interface is what we call it, because most of the groups that book with us are actually tour operators. And through this interface, they are now able to connect, and their bookings go directly into the systems, which is an amazing improvement for us to speed up the process, and also the satisfaction on their side that they can sell quickly. And we also have something now called a tour operator portal. It's very much the same, but you can just with the code log in on the website and make your booking there. And we are doing more. Exactly, we launched our new website just this year, and last year. Sorry, I'm in January now. No,
in 25.
Yeah, and we also have a new booking engine on the website. So we are, of course, we're doing everything we can to improve and speed up the process for group bookings, but also for any customer who wants to book with us. So the customer journey is also always in focus.
So when you come to one of your hotels, how does the check-in work?
Would you like to take that?
I can do. I mean, it's as usual. Yeah, you appear in front of the reception, say your name, and then the regular process starts. By April, May, we will change that. We will follow the current trend that you can do literally everything on your phone. So the whole booking the whole process, keying in your personal data, registration card, even payment, everything can be done over your phone. So that would be also a big improvement and game changer for us. And then when that is launched and integrated, then we go in direction of mobile key, that you can then open the door and maneuver the lift with the mobile key.
And that also works for the groups. So everyone in a group will have an access key. You know, there's 10 kids in a room, and
nope.
No.
So I was just trying to imagine that.
No. That's not. And it was a very long journey, because we're discussing this since years actually. And for a regular hotel, a traditional hotel where you have one guest per room who is registered, maybe together with a partner, that's easy to do in a system. Our system, our PMS, is so complicated because we have virtual room categories, because we can sell a room as a single, as a double, as a dorm, or for a group. And that makes it so complicated for the PMS to understand what guest is it. So we had then trials with, we worked with Hotelbird in 3 of our hotels, but they cannot differentiate if you are in a dorm and the first person has checked in, then the room status changes and the room is dirty or occupied. Yeah. So then for the next one to go in, and then we had to stop it. Yeah.
And I also think when it comes to groups, I mean, this is again where we differentiate ourselves a bit. We do want to have that personal check-in. I know they have group speeches. We do a little bit go through the house rules, what's to consider when you're staying in the hotel with us, and to also really look at is the gender breakdown correct when they come? Anyone who might have been, I don't know, last minute cancellation, so you need to do some last minute changes. So that process, I don't see that we will automate the check-in as such, because I think that's also a part of. I think it's important.
That's the social connection. I mean,
exactly.
You ask if anyone has allergies or what food preferences, because they, for the groups, we usually have half board, then in the evening, breakfast times, because they get a certain slot assigned per group. Yeah. So if they are going, I don't know, for a city tour at 8, then they have a breakfast at 7:30, whatever, 20 minutes slot, and then.
Wow, that sounds very complex.
Yeah, it is.
How does that work? Like on a property basis? I find it very interesting. It's fascinating. So you have a person who manages that on a property basis, that they, like all the groups that have checked in, for example, how does that work?
Well, you first start with allocation of guest rooms, that you put the groups together in certain floors, as mentioned earlier. And then obviously you need to plan, and you discuss with the teachers or group leaders if they have any time preferences. If possible, we try to accommodate that. But if not, then first come, first serve.
Okay, so it is a first come, first serve. So the earlier you book and you have your preference, you tell your person at the property, this is our preference, and if it's free, it gets assigned to that group.
Exactly.
Basically.
And we have in principle, we say 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how busy the hotel is, for breakfast. And that is then announced in the group welcome speech. So one of the receptionists is then talking in front of the group, is telling a little bit about safety, security, the housekeeping rules, what you have to respect. And to remind the young people, even if they are not really, very often not listening. We were thinking about also to have videos for them, and we are working on that topic. We do trainings actually for group speeches for our people.
It's interesting to hear. Amazing how you improve efficiency on the guest side. What's about efficiency on the employee side? So I heard about an e-learning platform, so might be interesting for onboarding, but not only.
Oh, we call it LMS, Learning Management System. This is full of courses. So it's very interesting, and there's everything from how to maneuver in the property management system. We work with CHOT, so all the trainings there. There's a lot. On the other hand, we have just introduced a CHOT mobile function, so that you can do the room checks on the corridors through that system. Then we have 2 years ago introduced HotelKit as an intranet, that everything is online. So each and every hotel has an own intranet site where they find all their manuals, what they need. They use it for handover between the shifts.
So you worked in different countries, I think even in Singapore.
Yes.
And specialist in hotel openings and pre-openings. What are the main difference between the cultures and nationalities? So is there a way to manage all these different nationalities in the?
What do you mean with different nationalities?
Yeah, talking about the e-learning platform, for example. So it's
okay.
available in different languages, or it's English only? Or?
No, it's I think we currently have German, English, French, Italian, and we want to add Polish, I think. Is there any?
Maybe Spanish?
Maybe Spanish.
Maybe Spanish is
yeah.
going to come as well, yeah. I mean, of course, not all courses are, English is the main language. That's the company language in general. But yeah, you need to be able to.
For a long time already that English is a company language, or?
At least as long I brought it in.
Okay,
Since
you brought
10
it.
years
So
at least.
At least 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as we travel to other countries, we need to speak one common language, everyone. So for sure, but to reach out to everyone, because people working in our different hotels, not everyone do speak English in certain areas where they work. So yeah, specific trainings are definitely also in the other languages.
Hungarian. We also have Hungarian.
Yeah. Even that.
Yeah. Just thinking.
No Swedish yet.
No, not yet, because we need a hotel there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's nice outlook.
Sweden, yeah. It's your background, yeah?
It's my background, yeah.
So
Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Copenhagen
when did you come to Germany?
Back in 99, like millennium. Yeah, before that was in Switzerland. So been in the German-speaking region since the late 90s. That's why we do this in English today.
Not only because you're that international at mining, of course, and it's always a nice way to share your ideas and the vision and everything with all the colleagues at mining.
That is right. I mean, talking about nationalities, I think we are almost 90 nationalities working with Meininger today, and speak a lot of languages. So it is a very diverse company, and we are proud to be. So diversity and inclusion is something that really is close to our hearts with the company. That's why I also fit in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you?
Yeah.
So, since you're focused on the group business, is there a special skill set that's required by your employees to deal with the groups? Would you say your people on the property level, know or can do different things, have different skill sets than, a general manager in, I don't know, any standard hotel?
I mean, the stress level is different in our hotels. That's absolutely clear. And I remember when I started at Meininger, then I was asked to spend from Wednesday till Saturday in Amsterdam at the biggest Meininger property. And then you see the shift when the groups have their departure on Thursday, Friday, and then on Friday, the stag nights, the British guys come in. I mean, this was mind blowing. I was not aware that this exists. Actually,
this picture's running through my mind.
Yeah. And then you had what 6-7 people at reception checking people in, and that is massive. Yeah, and that's a volume. And then looking at breakfast and in the evening at the bar revenue, that was really, really different to anything what I had seen in the 20 years with Radisson.
So do you find it difficult to find people? As a lot of people are complaining about, how difficult it is these days to find staff, retain staff. Like, what's your situation?
It's been very challenging. I think, as everyone else, when we came out of the pandemic back in 2022, it was really difficult to get people to come back. I think everyone experienced the same. So we did, we started, for instance, to really work on our employer branding. We said we need to do things not only to retain the people that we have, but really to attract new talent. So we started an employer branding project to work on the brand. And this has really helped a lot to show who we are. And we are also looking at we do regular employee engagement service every year. To make sure that everyone's voice is heard. We really look at that also to evaluate what can we do, what improvements can we make, because that's their voice. So I think the employment engagement service is really important for us. So we do a lot to work on attracting talent and to keep the good people that we have.
A lot of training is done.
Yeah.
I mean, on all different levels. We have a separate meeting every year with all trainees. We have about 50 trainees, roughly. We do it for assistant hotel managers because that's the second role where we need then to develop people. We have a management trainee program where we, on average, have 5-6 people going through that. So that's really in focus of our HR team, and operations is very much involved there.
And is that regionally different? For example, is the situation in Germany, let's say, more difficult than it might be in Spain or, in France? Or do you find it?
Actually, not really. Sometimes you have difficulties in certain destinations where you have let's say, a smaller market as such, in smaller cities, in Leipzig, for instance, or in Innsbruck. They're not so big, the cities. So the workforce is not that big. Yeah. But on the other hand, I must say, knock on wood, in our hotels currently, we are okay. We struggled a lot some years ago, but at the moment we are quite okay.
I think also something that has helped, not on property level, but in headquarters, is this flexibility that we have. Again, coming out of the pandemic, everybody's working remote, and looking at how successful that was for us. We have kept that. So when we search for talent, be it sales, be it in revenue management, okay, I'm very commercial minded now. Also finance, you don't need to have people sitting in Berlin, or as we have another headquarters in Milan. They don't really need to sit there. They can sit anywhere as long as they can do their work.
I would go to either. So,
No, but this has really helped also, I think, because we can really get the talent and the skill set that we want. And they don't need to have their base in Berlin.
Mm. So today here we are at the Berlin headquarters.
Yeah.
And in Milan, you also call it headquarters. So the second. Okay.
Yeah, we do have a bigger team sitting in Milan as well. That also came out of the pandemic, or right before, actually, that we said we need to find people. It was very difficult, especially for central reservations. Now I'm speaking that is centralized, to find people here in Berlin. Before COVID, there was Berlin is a lot of startups, and it was difficult to get this skill set. Mm-hmm. And we managed to get it in Milan. We opened up 2 hotels there in 2018, and saw that we also had in Milan a lot of people speak German as well, which helps. Mm. And therefore, we started to build up a team there. And today, it's not just the central reservations; it's also HR and facility management and different positions working there.
Yeah, we've decentralized a number of functions, HR and facility management in particular.
So how many people are here and in Milan? So approximately?
Milan is...
the Milan team is about 50 people.
Mm. Yeah. And here we have about 160.
Okay.
So that was employees, guests. So what's the feedback you're getting from your guests? What are your guests most excited about in your properties?
I would say what they are most excited about is this vibrant the community orientation that we have as a brand. This is what they like the most. And also going back again, people come to stay with us because of the locations also, because we are really, really centrally located, or you're very well connected. So it's so easy if you're there for a 1, 2, 3 day trip that you can really just get out of the hotel directly and visit the city and make the most of the short time that you might have when you're in a city. So this is, I think, what we are really about.
Are you getting a lot of feedback, just generally? Is there a lot of people who...
Yeah, I mean, these days you get so much feedback, and we have same aggregator as most others, Trust.you, we're working with, and that collects from Google, Booking, wherever. No, it's very much in our focus. We have this year started a project with the hotels that they pick 3 sentiments where they have to work on to improve this. I mean, in hotels, it's always the same. It's about cleanliness. It's about F&B. It's about service. It's about friendliness. Of course, Wi-Fi and location. Few things you can't really change. But if you really go and work with that, and that's what we do. We have per hotel, we call it a hotel scorecard, and Trust.you scoring is one of the parameters what we measure and how we judge how good a hotel team, not only the manager, the team is. Then then you can change. Yeah. And then we also see based on the feedback, we see then the need on, refurbishment. You talked about wear and tear earlier. I mean, in traditional hotels, we talk 7 years usually. Then a room is depending on the occupancy and the quality.
These days, more like 10 or 12, but
well, yeah, depends. No, and I mean, we are engaged in, I think, if I count correctly, in 15 refurbishments, what we have in the process, because we have grown very fast and we have a number of new, nice properties, but, it's important to keep the rest of the portfolio also, up to date.
So what is your turnover time on a room?
Depends actually on the FF&E. And I must say that the founders of Meininger, they invested in a high quality. So we see very often good FF&E in the rooms, good beds that we don't need to change. But what we then do on a regular basis is the operating equipment. So the bedding, the mattresses, the linen, the towels, that this gets changed after 2-3 years maximum.
Personal interest. Do you still have any bathtubs anywhere?
No.
Oh, no.
Well, Copenhagen.
Bathtub?
Yes.
I didn't know. I know we have bidets because that is something that is by law.
Only in Italy.
Yeah.
No, we have in Copenhagen. Copenhagen is an old property, and it was managed before as a hostel or built as a hostel, and then they approached us to manage it for them.
Now I'm curious: is the bathtub in the shared facilities, or is it in the private room?
It's right next to the sauna.
Exactly. No, I don't think it's in the shared facilities. No. But I mean, in Copenhagen, we still have shower rooms and toilets on the floors shared.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
But that is how it all started.
Right.
I mean, in the typical youth hostels in the 90s.
But shared facilities are, if you're building new now, that is no longer there.
No.
So even the larger rooms have ensuite bathrooms.
Yes.
Basically. Right.
And I think Copenhagen is an exception here, no?
Because it is an absolute exception.
Yeah,
yes.
it's
but it's a great property.
Absolutely.
Super bar, super vibe.
Yeah.
Live
nice
music.
Events. Yeah. It is it is a it comes really out of the hostel era, so to say, and a property that we took over the management of in 2017, I think. So it's not from beginning a Meininger product. It's been turned into one very well.
You mentioned earlier converting office buildings, having the ability to do so with your product. Is that helping you in your development goals? Is that a sizable factor right now in your development goals?
Absolutely. I mean, Edinburgh is an office building. As said, Amsterdam is or was. I mean, we are discussing we're very often incorporated in mixed developments, and then it happened that the landlord is asking whether we want to expand, and because he can't rent the offices anymore. So if sometimes here and there we are discussing this, other office buildings which we converted. I think Barcelona is also an existing different building. Not sure what. I think it was more. Could be also offices. I'm not sure exactly.
So if you have your choice, you said you would rather do a conversion than a new build.
Depending on the speed, exactly. Because I mean, it is an investment. The concept for us is that we go into long-time leases as long as possible. 20 years. I mean, some jurisdictions in France, it can't be more than 11, I think. And then the landlord does the building, and we do the FF&E. So we are investing everything, chairs, desks, reception, sometimes the kitchen ourselves. So that's what we are doing then.
Is there an example of a purpose-built Meininger, like a new building that was built purposefully for you as a tenant?
Many of them. I mean, most of the new build Meiningers I think here, for instance, the other example for an office building is Berlin main train station. That was designed as an office building, and then close before the opening, it was converted in a hotel. But for instance, East Side Gallery, that was built for us as a hotel. And then at the end, even we added 3 floors to it. And in Heidelberg, there are plenty of hotels which were built. Brussels, the second hotel at the train station. No, that's purposely built for us, and that's the interesting part of it, and that is why I like pre-opening and pre-opening planning so much. You get the plans, and then you think about, okay, where do we what, and where is the breakfast room, and where's the guest kitchen, and how can we combine the bar and reception? How many rooms do we get in? How many beds? So that's then a long discussion sometimes. And then Marlene wants to have more beds or less beds.
Do I?
And,
Yeah.
Or Steffi. Yeah. And no, but that's the nice and interesting part with development and growing.
Absolutely. Marlene wants to have more beds and more revenue. Yeah, of course. I think you reached last financial year nearly 200 million euros.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is the only way is up, no?
It is, yeah.
Although this year has been challenging, definitely. You can tell the whole industry. We are not. You can see that the great rates that we were getting in 23 has not materialized in the same manner in 24. It's really plateaued out. Yeah. But yeah, we are on a good path, definitely.
And what's about occupancy?
We are in the, if we look at mining roll, I mean, we calculate in everything there, right? It's also the new openings, because we did open Krakow and Cologne, the last ones, and you don't open a hotel and then you have full occupancy on day one. But we have occupancies of the mid 80s. It used to be higher, but we really try to focus more on rates. It's nice when you have the opportunity, when you can choose your guest mix a little bit as you want.
Sorry, I'm still interested in the product. Well, if you mentioned earlier that part of your what one would find in a mining or hotel is vending machines.
Sure.
And is that something that evolves? Is this something where, you're evolving the product? Are you going with different vendors? Are you do you find certain things that work from a revenue perspective, and other things that are just not so good?
One thing is the position of the vending machine. We changed it in one of our hotels, and we made a difference of 300%. So for each and every new hotel, what we plan, the vending machine is next to the elevator, because at the lift landing next to the elevator, when you're waiting for the elevator, you look at that and think, a little Snickers or whatever, water, whatever you want to get. Then you go and use that. So if you don't see it, if it's not in your face, then you don't use it. The other thing what we evolved, we have a cooperation with many others do that as well, is Wundermart, the Dutch company, and we have it in Amsterdam in both hotels. We have it now implemented in Munich, where we had a renovation in the hotel next to the Olympia Park, and that's really, really interesting, because you are just collecting literally the revenues. They fill the shelves, they do the revenue management, they even yield the prices. And that's a great concept, actually. And we have in Amsterdam, Amstel, we have the first trial that you even have beer from the tap.
But you pay, and then
it's a corporation.
Beer comes out.
It's a revenue share together with Wundermart, and then you invest in the FF&E, and return of investment is quite quick. It's good. So we are looking at, it doesn't fit in all our properties, but we are discussing to roll that out in further other hotels.
Do you know what the most popular product is in the vending machine?
Water.
Water.
Also
the most profitable, probably.
Yeah, probably.
What about coffee? Can people get coffee? Like, how does coffee work? You said you have a bar, for example.
Coffee, we have the ambition to sell sort of barista coffees at the bars, and we have Also very often a separate coffee machine, half automated, at the reception desk.
I would say also when we talk about revenues, right? This is where we still have an upside, an opportunity to really be selling more F&B or to sell more of other revenues, something that we're working on. We can say that 85% of our revenue comes from the rooms.
Yeah.
So we definitely have an
So do you have,
upside
are you somehow filling your F&B space or the breakfast space, I'm assuming? Are you filling that throughout the day? Where are you closing that off?
Depends very much on the layout. So if you have a separated breakfast room, then obviously not. You use that for your group speeches. Here and there, you can rent it to someone, but that's not really a focus. So we don't really have a concept for that. But as said earlier, what we try is to have the entire ground floor or area not separated in closed breakfast room, which you then lock with the door, but have an environment where you can sit for breakfast, but where you would also sit during the day or in the evening hours. So that's from an interior aspect what we use, or what we would like to have. And then we have the typical, they are called Mary Chef. So that's an oven which is combined a microwave and a grill, where you can get your pizza, your quiche Lorraine, whatever you want. And that's very, very fast. The deep frozen piece of food is then ready to eat in less than 3 minutes.
But this the guest makes, or their staff?
No, that's
making
staff. That's operated by the staff. We have since 2019, we have a food and beverage manager, a corporate manager, now director, who is taking care of that. And we see really that makes a difference from a profit perspective. Standards, new breakfast standards for lunch and dinners. So there is a lot of work going in, and it obviously also depends on the quality of data what you have. We have invested now heavily this year into 2 big systems. One is a procurement system, and the other is an HR information system. And with the procurement system, then we will kill the very manual inventory management, and then you have the link to your point of sale, and then you see really what are your best sellers, and then you can, maybe we start yielding then an F&B as well.
Looking forward to it.
But that's also interesting because, a lot of companies, I guess, or a lot of concepts actually try to reduce F&B or, public areas in general and just be basically just rooms and a vending machine. You are talking about possibly expanding that and looking at it as another opportunity to drive revenue.
Well, we are going both ways. As mentioned in Amsterdam, we have the trial where we really go self-service with this Wundermarkt. But still, the people, they like to sit in a coffee bar. They like to have a good coffee, and why not using that? And if you have the atmosphere, and again, there's a lot interior design, you need to create an atmosphere. And the typical Berliner coffee shops, what you have, you have a good lighting, you have nice furniture, you get a good coffee. So that's your business card as a hotelier. And sometimes we are located in areas where you have offices around, and there is not much around to eat. So why not offering some food if you have the space that you can prepare for it?
Yep.
So we go case by case in that direction.
And it's not about during the day, it's in the morning, you have the breakfast or you have the coffee. This is where we make the revenues, or it's in the evening when the people come in, and it's the social spaces. You want the people to hang out then. And that's when you should also have something to offer.
Eating salty and then having another drink.
Be a bit thirsty. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's easy to understand why you're with Meininger for such a long time, because there's still a very big entrepreneurial spirit, and you work on the product, you're growing as you always did. So thank you very much for all these deep insights. I have to say that was the kind of real talk we appreciate here as a Hotel Podcast. Jon, thank you.
Thank you.
For
Thank you
being
for
my
sharing so much.
co-host
Yeah.
for the first time today. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the nice conversation.
It was a very relaxing talk. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what I said, Martin.
Wow, that doesn't come for sure. Yeah.
So, is there nothing you want to share with your colleagues or customers or business partners?
Which one is your favorite hotel?
Are you interviewing me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at that. I think I go Eastern Europe.
Mhm.
I have 2 favorites that I really can recommend to visit, and that is Budapest and Krakow. Beautiful properties that I can recommend. The cities are amazing. I did not know Krakow myself until very, very recently, and just stunning. And Krakow is also our latest addition,
Mhm.
our new baby, when it comes to our product. So yeah, that's something I can recommend. And if you visit a Meininger, you need to make sure that you talk to the staff and ask them about the hidden paths of the
We'll
city,
make sure.
because that's what we're about. Yeah.
For me, it would be West. My favorite hotels are Brussels, the city center, the old brewery, and then Cologne, also one of the latest hotel openings. And yeah, my recommendation is double check what you have booked, because there's a funny story which I experienced when I was in Munich during the Expo Real. And a gentleman appeared in the lobby with a typical trolley and suit and tie, and then he was kind of probably proud that he has booked a cheap room for some, I think it was 35 euros. And then the receptionist realized, obviously, that he had booked a bed in a dorm, and then he politely informed him about it. And then the guy didn't really understand what happened. And then luckily we could offer him a private room, obviously for a different rate. But so be careful, be mindful when you book a Meininger what you have booked.
Always a surprise, but in a positive way. yeah?
Exactly.
So, thank you so much, and all the best. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.